Hi folks, I'm going to show you how to change out brake pads and rotors on a 2004 Nissan Maxima. This car right here is just an example. A lot of automobiles are like this. It's a pretty simple operation. I took the front tire off because I don't want to waste your time with taking a tire off, because most of you know how to do that. Unfortunately, some days, some people don't know how, but most do. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the tools you need specifically for this car, the 2004 Maxima. Okay, I use these box end wrenches. You can probably use whatever you want. I'm just going to give you the sizes. I like things to be simple, so I use these box ends. Alright, you're going to need a 14 millimeter to take the calipers off. Okay, you're going to need a 22 millimeter to take the caliper bracket off. Okay, and then you're going to need a 22 millimeter socket if you don't want to sit there forever and take it off with the box end wrench. Alright, your simple mid-sized flat blade screwdriver. Okay, some of these tools I have here just because I might need them, because I'm lazy and I don't like to get up and walk to the toolbox. Standard pair of needle nose, a standard pair of lineman pliers, a baby sledgehammer, and somewhere around here I have a wood block, and I use this wood block to pound on things that I don't want to ruin. And probably one of the most important things is this little tiny cheap green bungee cord to hold up your brake caliper so that you don't ruin your hoses. It's a foot long, blah 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 blah. You can make it work. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, one more tool that I forgot to show you, which is really cheap at any hardware store, not hardware store, but automotive store, is you can go old school and just use a C-clamp for carpenters, framers, and whatnot. But this makes it just a little bit easier. It's just a brake tool to expand the caliper out for you so you can put the new brake pads in. It's cheap, makes the job a lot easier. If you're trying to make money, get stuff done quick and out of here, this is the way to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this. First thing I'm going to do is get out that small box 14 millimeter wrench. Okay. Now, seeing as this is a 2004, the majority of these bolts won't be seized up and tight. But if they are, I am equipped with WD-40 and a torch. And these two items right here, 9 times out of 10, will unseize any seized nut or bolt. I love these two tools, and they're cheap. So first of all, I'm going to break this caliper off of here. Oh, that wasn't very good on the knuckle. Now I like to carry a big magnet and a tub to put it in. That way I don't lose any parts. I'm really fussy about that kind of stuff. I hate spending my time looking for parts, especially if you lose them so bad you have to go buy new ones. It's a waste of time. So I stick everything on the magnets or in the tub, either way. There's the first one off. Okay. Second one off. Now what we're going to do is take our little sledgehammer here and tap. Some guys will take just one bolt off and just, they'll leave the one in that's closest to where the brake line attaches to the caliper, and they'll just pivot this up. But I like things out of my way. So I've got the caliper off. I'm very carefully going to set it right here so it doesn't put any stress on that brake line. And get my green bungee cord. And I'm just going to go ahead, attach it there, wrap it around a few times. I don't know if you guys can see all this, but I'm pretty sure if you can't, you know what I'm doing. Okay, so the brake caliper's out of the way. Next thing is just pulling the brake pads out. I've got some parts falling off here, but I'll show you how they go back on. They're really simple. Okay, now, seeing as how I have to change this rotor, because I don't know at this angle if you can see this, but it's what we call shellacked. It's very shiny. It's not abrasive anymore, so it's just not grabbing a hold. So they're not warped or anything like that. They're just not up to par. That's why they're being replaced, and they're cheap enough to do, especially with winter coming along. So these little clips right here, these can get complicated on you. If you can make a visual thing in your memory bank about how they go on and off, because I fought the other side, and I've done tons of these, but I still fight them. These go in your bucket on your magnet. Okay, the next thing is a caliper mount. Okay, this takes the big wrench. 22mm. Hopefully this isn't too tight that I don't have to put heat to it. Oh, I just might have to. First though, sledgehammer. There we go. There's a little bit of propane and thyme. Be careful with your hands. No fun busting a knuckle. Okay. Go ahead and twist those big 22mm bolts out of there. As you can see, there's a 22mm bolt and a washer. I'm going to put this in the container so it doesn't get lost. I know my camera operation's not all that good, but I hope this does the job for you guys. I don't believe I've ever seen anything on YouTube that was much better. Just have to spend some time or go pay a mechanic. And there's the other 22mm bolt washer over into the container. Okay. There's your caliper mount. Just set that off to the side. Next thing is your block of wood and your sledgehammer. 9 times out of 10, all you have to do is tap these very carefully. Don't, some guys, it's no good, let's just go ahead and hit it with a hammer, don't use a block of wood, blah, 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 blah. But I could actually take these rotors and sell them to somebody or give them to somebody, and they can go get them turned, or maybe help somebody out that's broke. Because the cheapest ones are $40 and they go up to $100. So I'm going to protect these with a wood block to get them off, and you just gently tap around it. It'll just start working loose on you. See there? Pop right off. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, there's your shellac rotor. Okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that other than it's shellac. If it was turned, it'd be good to go for another 50,000 miles. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Okay, I'm going to go away from the camera for a minute and go grab the other brand new rotor and show you what I do here. Okay, here's a new rotor. As you can see, this one isn't shellacked. You can see the machine crosshatch marks all the way around it. That means it's abrasive. It's going to grab a hold. When these are shipped from the factory, they put a greasy lubricant on them so they don't rust. So the first thing you want to do is clean all that crap off of there, because you don't want it smoking and getting into your brake pads and whatnot. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some right here. That doesn't have to be cleaned off because that's not where the brake pads meet. But all around here, front and back. I'm going to set this down. I'm going to go grab my stuff, clean it off, and show you. There, so you can see it. Now, there's quite a few things that you can use to take this stuff off. Totally up to you. I got a stuff called Sprayway, and it's for printing presses. It takes ink off. It's really, really strong. The reason I have it is I got a whole case for like $5, and there was 12 in there. But you can use a brake cleaner, you can use dish soap, you can use carburetor cleaner, you can even use vinegar. Vinegar is something I use quite frequently to break down grease. You can even use oven cleaner. I don't buy engine degreaser because it's garbage. I use oven cleaner. I've never seen anything work like it. You spray it on an engine that has an 1/8 inch of grease on it. It's been there for 20 years, and in an hour it'll be gone. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and spray this. Trying to keep everything in front of the camera here for you. I haven't even did a trial run on this video to see where the camera's pointing, so hopefully we're in luck. Okay, so there's the front. Set her up there again like that. Lean back. Stuff is really stout, so if you can get some ventilation in your garage, you might want to if you're sensitive to this kind of stuff. I'm not, but a lot of people are. Okay, now we'll get the back. Okay, now I feel like that's pretty clean. I can feel it all the way around. There's nothing tacky. It's kind of a tacky. There's a little bit right there. I'll take off. Kind of a tacky substance once you hit it with this kind of a spray that I have. That feels better. Okay. Time for the rotor to go back on. Pretty simple, I don't need to explain this to you. Okay, now that the rotor's back on, we need to suck that sucker in there so we can put the mounting bracket back on for the caliper. Just take a couple of lug nuts. Now, where did I put those lug nuts? There they are. I prefer to put one on the bottom because, of course, that's the one that protrudes out the most. Part of the rotor that protrudes out the most, anyway. You only have to put it on there finger tight. And then, like, you undo lug nuts and you put lug nuts back on, just go in a crisscross pattern. So, go up here, put your second lug nut on, and tight. Make sure you get her sucked in there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a second step here and go ahead and give these a little bit of a snug tightening. With my 22mm box wrench. That feels better. Okay, you know, while you guys are at it, this right here holds a CV axle on. And in front of that CV axle nut right there is a cotter key. Take a little inspection of it. Make sure that it's still tight and that it's going to stay there, because if one of these comes off, you can really get into some problems. So just take a visual of it. Make sure it's still tight, bent over correctly, and it doesn't look really rusty like it's going to fall out someday. This one looks like it's in good shape. This car has been taken well care of, so I don't have to replace it. Oh, the one thing I did forget to tell you is it's pretty obvious that the caliper and everything was at the front of the car. So I rotated the steering wheel to get everything out this way so I can have better access to it. So now we're just going to go and follow the steps backwards. Our caliper mount. I really hope you guys can see this. They are two 22mm grade 8 bolts with washers. Pretty self-explanatory where they go. Nothing goes in between them, nothing complicated, just get them in there. A little bit of a long process with your fingers, but if you put a socket on here, you have to have two hands because it just spins backwards on you. Okay, there's the first one, just finger tight as you can see. Okay, now I'll put the second one on. Alrighty, now back to our 22mm wrench. Okay folks, resuming this video. I had a little bit of time to think about some of the things I forgot to tell you. This is the passenger side of the vehicle. The driver's side and the passenger side are identical. There's one little thing on the passenger side that's different than the driver's side, and I will show you. Okay. The pad that goes towards the outside of the car has two clips on it. Okay. The pad that goes on the inside of the car has one clip on it. And on the driver's side, they're all like this. This is the only one that's different. Okay, and then, of course, you have sorry, I did this wrong again. Because I have ducks and dogs distracting me. Ducks trying to attack my dog and my dog trying to attack my ducks. Okay, this little thing right here is a heat shield anti-seize squeaker for your brake pads. Okay. As you can see, I know